It's all good. I love it. This is real, right? This is life. So welcome
Mhm.
everybody. It's What If Wednesday. I'm Mindy Audlin, and this is our weekly gathering for our What If Up Club community. Thank you so much for being here, for being part of this community at this season of Thanksgiving, this time of feeling grateful for all the incredible things that show up in our lives. And one of the things I'm grateful for is this amazing network of friends that I have all around the world. I am so excited to introduce you today to our special guest, the world's greatest speaker here in the What If Up
Thank
Club.
you.
We have the world's greatest speaker, my friend Stan, Stan Pearson 2.0. We met a couple years ago at a speaker retreat. We were both, it's a very private, exclusive, invitation only speaker retreat with some of the most amazing, amazing speakers on the planet. And we get together for about a week, a little less than a week, and
Yeah.
um, and support each other. And so that's where we met. And Stan, I saw yesterday on your Facebook, you have an amazing story. So I want to toss it over to you to share anything that you want to share about the journey and what's been showing up for you since we connected in Asheville.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's that retreat in particular, it's challenging, because you're forced to stretch in ways you didn't anticipate having to stretch.
Mhm.
And so for me, it was like, what do I see for me? What do I really want for me? I feel like I've seen it for a long time is the thought was, hey, what do you want? I
Mhm.
was like, like to be Tony Robbins 2.0. Like
Yeah.
that was, and that just really unleashed this flourish of ideas, thoughts, visions that I hadn't quite had for myself that folks like yourself had for me. And there's nothing like, whether it's validation, encouragement from the right circles, that's what kind of happened. And things don't always seem like they're moving in a straight line. What if you're better than Tony Robbins? Well, why don't you, instead of Tony Robbins 2.0, be Stan 2.0? And a couple of things have happened over the last few years, but more recently, finished speaking at a conference and some younger people were like, hey, you're like Tony Robbins of our generation. And someone in mine was like, who's Tony Robbins? And in my mind, it was just kind of soaking it all up while I was signing books like, wait a minute. So there's some people here that don't know who Tony Robbins is, but they know who I am. And to
Yeah.
those who do know who I am, like they've drawn a comparison. And it's interesting, they say that people don't push themselves because of what is on the other side, which I believe is something that I've also been like fighting and struggling with. Like, okay, you say you want to get better, but what happens when better arrives? It's like our most recent retreat when the host asked us why we wanted to be there. It's like, and I think I said to leave different and to leave better. And there came moments there where it was like, you said you wanted to leave different. You said
Mhm.
you wanted to leave better.
Mhm.
And that just takes more effort than we're often willing to admit, or getting to know ourselves a little bit better. And that's what brings us here now, and so
Yeah.
more committed to Stan 2.0. Sorry.
I love that. And so I obviously am a huge proponent of small group work, and we all at our retreat, everybody brings something to the group. And my gift for the group was a What If Up circle, which we do in here all the time.
I
So
love it.
everyone's used to that question, what do you want? And it's such a powerful question. And I remember that circle. I remember sitting with you, and I remember the ideas that were flying around that circle. Like, what if you're bigger than Tony Robbins? What if you are Tony Robbins 2.0? What if you are Stan 2.0? I remember all of those possibilities and the energy that was there. I also love, because I see this happen a lot in a what if up circle where the ideas are big and grand and beautiful like that. And then I'll see people later and they're telling me what's happened in their life, and I'll say, "That's what we visioned," and they forget. So I love that you, like, when the moment happened, you had that awareness of, "Yeah, we visioned this. We saw this together." And that's how I see you, and always have and always will, like, to have that group of people, so it's not just you out there trudging along, that you have this community of accountability, like when you're not showing up the way you want, but even more than that, this community that sees you already as that Stan 2.0, like you are. you are Stan for this generation.
Yeah.
So, and for this generation that you are snuggling with. So can we say hi to our other special guest today?
Thank you. Please do. This is Wesley Dominic. He just made 4 months old. Woke up from his nap a little bit. Now he's kind of snuggled back in for the rest of it. And I'm
I
just,
like.
he has an older brother, Stanley the third, and I'm just over the moon. And again, I can't, encourage them to live their dreams and be who they're meant to be if I myself am not doing my best to live my dream. You know how it goes,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is, yeah, I'm just really excited about life,
Yeah.
and being who I say I want to be, and it's not easy. I even, know if you've seen, like, I've started, well, my son, Stanley, who just turned 5 in August, he's been in Taekwondo. And so that kind of inspired me to start, well, be active. And it's nothing like stepping in places where you aren't leading or the best, or, like, it, like you're not good at this. And again, your point about groups like this and intimate settings is being around people that aren't afraid to tell you to do more and to be better. I have my close family, but outside of my close family, I won't say people are afraid, but in those, when there are a bunch of high achievers or folks aspiring for more, then not only are they leading by example, they're willing to be like, hey, there's more in you. So
Mm,
are we doing this or not?
yeah. I love
Yes.
I love the vibe of having having your
Thank you.
son with us and just having that, like, it brings uh, a depth to it, and seeing like what we're doing is sending ripples out for generations. So, I mean, it's
Truly.
powerful work. So you shared in your Facebook post that I was like, "Ah," I was just like doing my happy dance for you to
Thank
see
you.
that vision that's like, okay, yeah, living it. You're in, you're speaking, they're loving you, they're in line, that you're signing books and the
Hmm.
conversation that's happening. Like we visioned all that, and to see that come to life, you shared in your Facebook post several words of wisdom. I captured three of them, and I would love
Oh,
to just hear your take on them. One of them that you said, which I think is really important because we visioned this. It's been a couple years since we visioned this.
yeah.
One of the things you said is stay the course. So what does that mean to you in the context of what you've shared?
I think sometimes our dreams give us commitment issues.
Mm,
And so that means maybe when we near them or we are getting the opportunities that we actually say we want, it's like, meeting, in relationship wise, saying like, God, whatever you believe in, send me the perfect person. And the guy's like, well, here's what, and you're like, no, not quite yet. I didn't say now. I meant later.
mm,
But it's like when the opportunity comes, it's like, no, stay the course. Like, don't get over it. Like, go through it. Like, really keep your feet on the ground, planted, and do your best to stay where you said you wanted to be.
mm.
Yeah, I think that ultimately we get what we ask for 100% of the time. So we just have to be specific. Got to be specific because it's coming.
Yeah, I love that. I love the boldness. I have always, since I first met you at that retreat, the declaration of, I'm the world's greatest speaker. And I'm like, oh,
Thank you. That's a
what a
lot.
great, such clarity. Like that's so clear and so, um, so powerful and so brave. So the second thing, um, you say work is going to work. So it's not like we just imagine the vision and then sit on the mountaintop and wait for it to show up.
Yeah.
You're out there all the time doing the work. So anything you want to share about that? What does that mean to you?
It's funny. I don't want to say like I test myself, but there are times where I know I'm not doing what I could be. Like
Mm,
I could be further along now, but there are certainly times where I'm like, I took my foot off the gas. I got comfortable. I got complacent. I had self doubt, whatever. I got lazy. Like all those things that exist, whether they're right or wrong, whatever. That every time I've worked, it's worked.
mm,
And I believe maybe it was Tom Billio at an event with him, and he was just like, do dope stuff. I remember him saying that like people can't ignore dope things, like awesome. They can't ignore it. So just keep working that thing that works, and the right people will show up. I think sometimes when we're comfortable, it's difficult because when you're working something, like, sometimes the wrong people or different people have to sift through in a way. Some of those people you might like, or situations or environments might be comfortable and good, but they sift away. But it's like the work, it's always going to work. Always works.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
good.
always works.
So good. And I do love that it is, we talk about having the imagination and having the wisdom to know, what's mine to do now. But then there's also that inspired action piece. It's like being in action and being in action, and that's what leads us to that reality that we've envisioned. So the third thing you say, which is my favorite, and the one I really want to what if up with everybody today, is you say, don't worry about getting bigger, but get braver, because you already what you need, you already have. So don't worry about getting bigger, get braver. What does that mean to you?
I mean, when I first heard, honestly, the person who told me that first was my wife.
Mm,
Because again, we get in our own ways, or you're like a shiny key syndrome, and see what's happening somewhere else, what's perceived happening somewhere else.
yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I gotta get bigger. That's what I gotta, whatever. If I just, and she's like, no, you don't have to get bigger. You have to get braver. And again, she's one of few people that's very comfortable saying, hey, you have this thing. So it's like you have all the tools, but you're not brave enough to use them. It's
Mm,
like the architect or the builder that has all the tools to build a house, but refuses to begin to,
mm,
pour the foundation.
yeah.
So I think so many of us, like, we have all of it. And even in braver doesn't mean getting it perfect or even getting it right. It means like being willing to test it or to try it. I always say that, like, we, like, abundance and faith have to be tested.
Mhm.
And we all, I mean, most people talk about having faith and believing in abundance, but it's such a conundrum because you have to test faith in order to prove you have faith. What? Anyway, so
Yeah,
that's my thought on,
being brave enough to risk the failure.
yes, being
Yeah,
brave. Like, you have everything you need. You
yeah,
know everything you need to know.
yeah,
Do more of it. Work it, and be braver in the face of doubt or judgment of yourself. Forget everybody else,
yeah.
of even judging you, to move forward.
I love it. Well, I'm so grateful that you took this time, this really sacred time to connect and to share your story with our community. We always like to wrap up our What If Wednesdays with some what if upping. And I thought that idea of um, not necessarily being bigger, but being braver would be a great thing to just kind of share some possibilities around. So what if, as we move into this holiday season, what if in our relationships, in our career, in our health, like what if we choose to be braver than we've ever been before? Yeah.
I'm writing that down.
What if? Let's see what we can come up with. And Betty, I see you're here as well. Thanks
Hey,
for those of
Betty.
you who are able to join live. And if you're watching this as in the community as a recording, feel free to post in the comments. What are some possibilities that you see out of this? What are your aha moments, and how is this uh, resonating with you in whatever you're dealing with in your own life right now? What if you could be brave, and whatever that challenge is? What if you follow your heart and trust that you have everything that you need?
Ooh. Y-
Yes.
y- Being,
So,
if you don't mind me saying,
yeah.
just meeting you is part of, our engagement. I've told you this before, but has allowed me to think more deeply, more intentionally, more thoughtfully. Yeah, and obviously, for those who don't know, you're so easy to be around. It's that helps in life, by the way. Whether it's you're born with it or just a life skill, being easy to be around is just, it's joy. So again, I just appreciate being, certainly in those spaces, someone that's willing to, yeah, obviously share their expertise, but even just their the vibe, if you will, and that it's okay to, whether it's letting others shine or just being supportive or just being a comfortable a comfortable, enjoyable person to be around. And I appreciate you a
Oh,
million times over.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Betty says, "This is great stuff. I've just been telling myself, what if I'm as brave as" oh, a new comment's coming in.
Oh,
Oh, more
wow,
comments coming in. It just
Betty.
popped off my screen. Let me see. I'm scrolling back, Betty. This is great stuff. I've just been telling myself, what if I'm as brave as I've been asking others to be?
That's heat, Betty. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
So good. Amen. Same. Mindy's energy. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for your comments. And Stan, I mean, you are such an inspiration, and not just as the world's greatest speaker, which I know
Thank
you
you.
can be, but as the world's greatest dad and the world's greatest person.
Thank
And
you.
that holding the vision of, striving to be the greatness that we are. We all have that greatness inside of us. And I love how you are fostering that first within yourself and also sharing it with students, with another generation, and now with this beautiful generation that you hold in your arms. Uh,
Thank you so much.
it's a
I
beautiful
appreciate
place
you.
to be in. So thank you, my dear friend. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for being
Pleasure to
here.
see
And
you.
thank you
Thank you.
all for being part of this What If Wednesday check-in. I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I look forward to seeing you all next week. So bye, everybody.
Bye
Thanks
bye.
for being here. Bye-bye.